Good morning, ladies. How are you, everybody? Nice to see you on this Tuesday morning. Now, just bear with me. Welcome to our, hang on, we get a neck echo. Now we're not. Now I can see your comments. Welcome to our Tuesday morning Business Growth Insights training, everybody. You know how much I love coming live to you, saying hi. Bit different from yesterday afternoon when I just popped into the group quickly to say hi. I've actually got my hair and makeup done today. Thought I'd be a little bit professional. Actually a lot professional because, you know, I am running my own business and all that stuff. Anyway, if you're popping on, say hi. Let me know that you can see and hear me okay. If you are watching the replay, put hashtag replay so I can come back and say hi and check out all your comments and reply to them as well. But it is really good to be here today. And what I want to talk on today is a topic that a lot of people, I think, tend to avoid, or we become a little bit anxious when we talk about it. So I'm going to talk about money mindset and creating a positive momentum. So I'm just going to share my screen and make sure that everything is set up. Here we go. So yeah, this topic is also, I think, one that we often tend to avoid in business because yes, business. Hey, Debbie, how are you, gorgeous lady? Business is about making money, right? And we tend to avoid the topic of money, and particularly our mindset around money. Or when we, you know, it might be even the case of when we do talk about it that it can be a very confronting thing for some people, as it has been for me in the past. And I've got to be bluntly honest with you, this has been very confronting for me in the past. But what I have found in both researching this topic and putting things into practice over the last few years is that I have learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about the way that I have treated money in the past and why I've had different mindsets at different times of my life. So these are the sorts of things that we're going to talk through this morning, plus heaps more. I've got lots of goodies for you. So first of all, let's talk about your relationship with money, or our relationship. I'm going to say our because this is, you know, I'm in this as well. Our relationship with money. So what you believe about money absolutely impacts your relationship with it. And so we can have different types of money mindset, and they can be a result. We're going to talk about what they are in a minute. They can be the result of a bunch of different things, right? The first thing is the way we're brought up, right? What our parents taught us, as well as, you know, what we subconsciously picked up or what was subconsciously implanted in our little minds as we watched how our parents treated their money, or how we watched how they spent it, or whatever it was. For me, I know that my dad, being a bookkeeper, he was very, he would call it smart with his money, and I call it smart too. But one thing that I did see, and that I acknowledge now that I didn't know at the time, was that my parents had a very much a scarcity mindset around money. And so that subconsciously translated into my beliefs around money. So it was very much, you know, how I was brought up. On the other side of it, my dad, being a bookkeeper, was, like I said, very smart with his money. And so that translated into how I treated money as I grew up. Right, so he taught me a lot of around budgeting and all sorts of things, and I was able to take that and use it positively in the future. So our upbringing has a lot to do with our relationship, excuse me, around money. Oh goodness, maybe that's happening because I'm talking about my parents. I don't know, but other past experiences too can affect us when it comes to money. So, you know, I've had experiences as a single mum. So that was a whole new thing that I had to deal with when it came to finances. You also know, most of you will know that I have dealt with financial abuse in my marriages. and also losing a very high paying career. So all of those different past experiences and more have all inevitably helped or not helped, depending on which way you look at it, build my relationship with money to what it is now. Okay, and I'm going to talk about some different ways and how we can change our money mindset as we go along today. Now, also, what are your current circumstances? I mean, this is logical, right? What are your current circumstances? What is happening in your life now? And what I find is that often we can be too focused on our current circumstances and what's maybe not happening for us the way we want it to happen, right? But it does. It no matter, you know, what your circumstances are, your relationship with money is affected. And then also we look at future goals. So what are you looking, what do we want to happen in the future? And also, what are we focusing on in the future? That's a big one. So there's a difference between looking to what you want in the future and then focusing on something totally different. So let me explain that a bit. So if you're thinking that, you know, I want to, I don't know, have a certain amount of money by a certain amount of time. So I'm just going to spitball here. So I want to have, you know, $50,000 by mid-year 2022, right? Great goal to have. But if you're sitting there and you're focusing on the fact that you don't think there's any way you can do that, that's where you're truly focusing on. So you're focusing on the negative rather than creating that goal for yourself or reaching that goal for yourself. Make sense? So these 4 things can mainly help develop our relationship with money, our upbringing, our past experiences, our current circumstances, and also what we want to look forward to in the future. So we also treat money in different ways, right? So as well as having your thoughts around money, what are the actions that we have around finances? So do you spend money when you're emotional? So are you an emotional or a scared spender, right? Do you, you go out and you spend your money to make yourself feel better? Or you're just feeling extra happy, so you feel like you want to go and spend some money. Or, and this is more me, where I have been, not where I am now, where I have been, where you kind of reluctantly spend money because you've got that scarcity mindset that it won't come back to you, right? It's a mindset that where you go, if I say, you know, if I go and spend that money, I'm afraid that I'm not going to get any more back. And that's certainly a mindset that I have had to work on a lot in my life. And a lot of that is because of my past experiences, right? It's partly because I saw what my parents going through. It's very much so, I think, because of my experiences with financial abuse. And yeah, there's a lot in that. I could talk about it for a long time, but can you see the difference? So are you spending money? Are you spending it emotionally, or are you spending it reluctantly because you're scared? You have that scarcity mindset that it won't come back to you. And on top of that, are you a smart or a scared saver, right? So when you're saving money, are you saving it maybe with a goal in mind? Or for something specific, great, for some good thing that you've got planned in the future? Are you maybe just saving it for a rainy day? Now, this is an interesting one, because when you think about saving for a rainy day, is this because, again, you're scared that something bad is going to happen in the future? Think about that for a minute. Or are you saving it for a rainy day because you know that something good is going to happen in the future? So what do you see what I mean? You're treating it differently depending on where your mindset, your thoughts. So your thoughts around money are creating your actions around money. It's you know, it's confronting, isn't it? So are you always in debt? Do you spend money that you don't have? This is something I'm proud to say that thanks to the way my parents brought me up, and thanks to my dad being a very smart bookkeeper, I have managed for the majority of my life to avoid, not all the time, but I've managed to avoid it, right? So, you know, are you spending money that you don't have, or are you getting yourself into debt? And for what reasons are you getting yourself into debt? Are you staying in debt? Or, you know, is your mindset keeping you in debt? Right. So there's a big difference than putting yourself in debt with a goal to working it off, right, or a goal to paying it off, as opposed to always being in debt because you've got that mindset of being in debt. And then, or are you an investor? Right? Something that I don't think I can call myself is an investor. Do you invest? Again, ask yourself, do you invest with the future in mind? Or maybe even think about why you're investing, right? Again, are you investing with a positive future in mind, or are you investing out of scarcity? So it is confronting, but when you start to look behind what you're doing, you really start to understand and go, oh, okay, then maybe I might need to change that up a little bit. So we're going to talk now about creating a positive money mindset. This is exciting. So understand your thoughts and your emotions around money, right? So I've had to work very, very hard on my emotions around money, particularly when it comes to you invest in paying your children's bills. Yeah, Debbie, yeah. And I'd be curious as to what your intent is behind that, Debbie. Like, what's the reason that you're doing that? So, as I said, so understanding your thoughts and your emotions behind money. When I know that, having dealt with the emotional abuse, this is something that I have really had to look deeply within myself, my thoughts and emotions around money. And this was when I really started to notice that I did have that scarcity mindset of letting go of money. So when it would come to paying bills, I was like, oh God, I don't want to let go of this money because I was scared that it wouldn't come back to me. Because that's what happened when I was in my marriages. You know, I just didn't have it. So when I got it, I held on to it as tightly as I could. On the other side of that, you know, I look at the good part of it. And I look at the good part when I became a single mum and how grateful I was to be able to make my own decisions financially. And, you know, how grateful I was for the little bit that came in from, at the time it was Centrelink, you know, single mum on welfare. And, you know, I remember, and I always remember this fondly when I went, you know, I used to get the Centrelink paycheck come in, do my little budget and work out that I had maybe $20, $25 extra to spend. So I would get this $25 and it was a fortnightly shopping trip, right? A fortnightly excitement. And I would trek down to my local Cheapest Chips, which is a local $2 store here in Adelaide, and I would buy something as simple as a fry pan and a hammer for our household, right? Not to use together, but you know, but I would buy things as simple as that. And I remember being my emotions around that, even as I talk about it, I remember feeling so happy, so thrilled, so excited to be able to spend that money and to be able to make my own decisions after coming out of that financial abuse, right? So my thoughts around money were, you know, they have been very negative, but there have been times when I've been able to take those negative emotions and turn them into positive. So have a thought now. So in your life, think about, you know, what are your thoughts and emotions around money, and think about everything that we've just talked about. something that we do not just with money, we do this all through life, right? This translates through all life, is comparing ourselves to others. When it comes to finances in particular, it's so easy to look at other people and for that big green-eyed monster to come out, right? And let's just call it what it is. We get jealous of other people who've got more money than us. And have I been guilty of this? Absolutely. Absolutely, I've been guilty of this. However, something that I have learned to do, something that I try to do as, all the time now, is to be truly happy, like honest to God happy for those people who you see succeeding and who might be a little bit further ahead in their business journey than you, right? And it's really interesting. So, I find it interesting because the green-eyed monster for me sometimes wants to come out, but it's like I go, no, right? I want to be happy for them, genuinely happy for them now. So it's me. So, it's a matter of deliberately turning our mindset around. And so something that I truly believe we need to do as well is to stop wishing that we had what others have. So you see that they've got all these things and you go, I wish that was me. So rather, instead of saying to yourself, I wish that was me, think about, concentrating on creating something amazing for yourself. It brings a smile to my face. And like I said, this translates into everything you do in life, every single thing that you do in life. And so, when it comes to maybe spending money, I'm going to talk about this first because I've got two stories. So forgive your past financial mistakes. Oh my God. Now, I speak to a lot of ladies who say, I've made mistakes in my past life with money. And I so get that. Can I tell you, one of the biggest mistakes that I made in my life was only just over 3.5 years ago, where I spent 10,000 Australian dollars on a coaching program, an overseas coaching program. And it turned out to not be the wisest choice at all for myself and my business. And this was literally about 3 months before my son got married. And so me making that very expensive mistake meant that I couldn't afford to pay for a lot of the stuff that I wanted to help my son pay for his wedding. So that's a huge financial mistake to make. It's not little, it's huge. And so I have really had to work on forgiving myself, right, for making that financial mistake. And it has not been an easy process to go through, let me tell you. So, Harley's now been married for 3 years. And, that's a process that I'm honest to God still working through. So if you have made financial mistakes, just remember that, oh my God, we all make them. And, that I've made others. That's probably the biggest one I've made. But have I made others? Oh God, yes, absolutely. But, forgive your past financial mistakes and just know that, we all make them and you can move forward. Absolutely. Now, something else is work on forming good habits, right? Good money habits. Thankfully, I had a very goal-orientated dad, not goal-orientated, what do I call him? He was very process-orientated. He was very organized, particularly when it came to finances. He was a bookkeeper, right? So he loved to teach me how to budget, right? He loved to teach me how to look after my money and form good money habits. And so think about now what habits that can be honed in on, that you have, positive habits that you can hone in on, right? And how can they be used for good? So, for instance, rather than saving money maybe from a hoarding mentality, right, save with a future in mind, right? And so when you do that, it creates a whole new level of thought patterns in your mind. Create a joyful budget. Joyful budget. Like who would think of putting the words joyful and budget together? Again, my dad being a bookkeeper, you know, he taught us how to put a budget together, and albeit, you know, the process that he taught me is probably a little bit outdated now, but you can certainly bring it into the 21st century. But I'm grateful for what he taught me. It even went back to and this will probably show my age, when we got maybe $1 or $2 pocket money a week, you know. Dad would teach us how to budget that money and save some of it. You know, I didn't like it at the time because it's like, oh, I just want to go spend my $2 on lollies. I don't want to have to save any of it. But having that, you know, having that background and that upbringing is a good thing. And so with a budget too, when you go to pay your bills, be grateful that you can pay your bills rather than pay them reluctantly. And so something that, and this kind of leads me into the next one as well, something that I say regularly when I go to pay bills now is that I am so grateful that I have this money, that I'm able to pay this bill, be it a big bill, be it a little bill. It doesn't matter. Instead of saying to yourself, oh, I really don't want to pay that bill, say to yourself, I'm so grateful that I have the money to be able to pay it. And it brings a whole new level of consciousness to money in your life. And gratitude is, you download an app that will help you on budgeting. Now I can see that I'm saving money. How cool is it, Parme, when you do that? How cool is that? So gratitude, it is an amazing tool. And again, this is something that you can translate. I talk about this a lot. You will know, ladies, this translates not only into finances, but right throughout your life, business, life, you know, love, finances, everything. And so something that I do each and every single day is I look at my bank account and I thank God for what is in my bank account, right? Whether it's a lot or whether it's a little, it doesn't matter. But especially when you look at your account and it's getting a little bit low and this panic starting to creep in, right? And you don't have any idea how, you know, or you're getting to that worry because you don't know how you're going to pay that bill that's coming up. Say to yourself, I'm so grateful for what is in my account. You know, it doesn't matter how big, how small it is. And so you might think that this is difficult, but having put this into practice for the last several years, it's actually not a very difficult thing. It's not as difficult as you might think, is what I'm trying to say. And so once you learn to really have that genuine gratitude, right, your whole life can turn around. And it honestly starts with the point of, I'm a little bit worried, but it ends up being genuine gratitude. And so use positive daily affirmations as well, right? This is one that you might have seen this. I've put in the group recently. This is a daily affirmation that I say to myself every single morning is my bank account is open and ready to receive. I thank God for what I've got in the account now, and it is open and ready to receive. This is actually a quote that comes from Sarah Prout, who is one of my mentors, and you know I absolutely adore Sarah Prout. And you know, it's just putting out there to the universe that, you know, I'm ready. I'm ready. It's not coming from a place of begging. It's just like, you know what, I'm open and I'm ready to receive. Thank you. So it's a positive affirmation. Now, I've got a number one tip, but there's actually two tips that can go into one, right? So my number one tip for you today is to remember that You are worthy of success, right? You are worthy of everything you desire. You deserve financial success as much as everybody else on the planet. And so when we think about, looking at what other people have, they might have more than us. Just remember that there is more than enough money in this whole entire world, this whole planet. There is more than enough money to go around for every single one of us. And you are just as worthy as everybody else. So I want you to keep saying, this is an affirmation that you can say to yourself, is I am worthy, or I am worthy of financial success, however you want to word it. But it is a really powerful affirmation to say. Hello, Kay. Hello, lovely lady. Thank you for joining me. And so building on that, you can say you are worthy, and then believe in yourself, right? Believe that you have everything that it takes to make your business and your life a complete success. So there's another affirmation. I am worthy. I'm worthy of success. I believe in myself. I believe in my success. I believe that I have everything it takes to be a success, right? So, pardon me. They are my number one / two, but brought into one tips for you today. And I want to finish with a little story. So 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago, you ladies have probably heard me talk about this before, but I met this lady and I knew that I wanted to hire a coach and I didn't have any money, right? And when I heard how much it was going to cost me to hire this particular person, I just knew that I had to work with her. And it was just like, I don't know how I'm going to financially do this, right? But I had faith. Literally, I had faith in myself. I came home, I spoke to Craig, I borrowed some money from him to put the deposit down. And, I went into this it was an absolute leap of faith for me. And I went into this with the attitude that I was going to do whatever it takes and I was going to pay that money back. And so since then, as I have worked with this coach who has not only helped me business-wise, but confidence and emotionally and everything really in my mindset, I've managed to pay off that course, plus do another course with her, plus earn a really good amount of money in my own business. And so that risk, if you like, or that feeling that I knew that I just had to work with her, it paid off. And I'm so grateful. And part of the things that I'm learning that I am worthy, and again, reminding you ladies, you are worthy. We're all worthy. And to believe in ourselves that we are worthy of that success. Sometimes we just have to listen to the nudges. Exactly, Kay. And I'm so grateful that I listened to that nudge. You water your money plants when I want sales and it works. Go figure. Well, there you go, Debbie. Water the money plants. Oh, I like that. That's cool. So look, ladies, I've got a little bit of a special that I want to offer you today. So if you're sitting there and you've listened to this and you're going, well, God, yes, okay, I love what you're saying, Ali, but I don't quite know that I'm there yet. And I know that I need to work in my own confidence, on my own mindset. I've got a little special for you. So I have a course called Confident Mindset for Business that I am currently offering at 50% off to anyone who would like to be a beta tester for me. So a beta tester means that you will provide me so you'll get 50% off this course. You will have a certain amount of time to do the course. It is a self-paced online course, and then you will provide me with feedback on how I can improve it, or how you loved it, or what maybe can be improved upon, as well as, should you love it, a testimonial. So I was offering this to 4 people. I was offering it to 5. There's only 4 left. So if you are interested, let me know in the comments below. Pop the word confidence and we'll be in touch with you to talk about the possibility of you being a beta tester for this course as well. So this is open to all ladies in the group. If you know someone who might be interested, also let them know and put them in touch with me. I'm more than happy to have a chat with them as well. All right, my beautiful ladies. So I'm going to leave that with you today. Remember, you are worthy of all success, and believe in yourself, because there is enough money for everybody, every single one of us, to go around. So if you want to get that course at 50% off, Confident Mindset for Business, pop the word confidence in the chat and we'll have a talk. All right, my beautiful ladies, I will see you in the group again on Thursday when we have our members spotlight interviews. So we'll see you on Thursday, lovely ladies. Have a great week. Bye.